All right, we have two ordinances for second reading. So each ordinance will have its own public comment only on these particular items. So starting with ordinance 2024-7, this is ordinance preventing stored salt and other solid de-icing materials from being exposed to stormwater. Now, before we bring it up to a motion, do we have anyone that want to speak on this particular comment? On this ordinance? Does anyone? Josh, you want to provide a brief update?
Provide guidelines for salt storage on private property that is not stored in a permanent structure. The salt needs to be placed on a pervious surface in a manner that prevents runoff.
All right, were you able to hear Mr. Brown? Can you repeat it one more time, Josh?
Provide guidelines for salt storage on private property that is not stored on a permanent structure. The salt needs to be placed on impervious surface in a manner that prevents runoff.
Okay, so there's new guidelines in regards to stored salt and de-icing products. So I see there's no public comments. We're gonna close the public portion for this ordinance only. Let's bring it up for a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-7, second reading.
I have a first. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2024-7 has passed. The next ordinance, this is for second reading only, as well, and we require public comments. We have an ordinance 2024-8, ordinance establishing minimum stormwater management requirements and controls. Before we bring it up for a motion, I'm gonna open up to the public to have any comments and questions on this particular ordinance only. All right, I'm seeing none. Josh, you wanna give a brief update of what this is?
There are revisions to the stormwater management control ordinance are required due to changes in state stormwater management rules, protecting against climate risks.
All right. Public portion is closed, but I will let you have your comment.
Excuse me. He's talking that way.
Yeah, he's talking to us. He's giving us the information. All right. So public portion is closed. Let's bring it up for a roll call. I'll get a motion first.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-8 on second reading.
We have a first? Second. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Ordinance 2024-8 has passed. All right, moving on. Matters to be presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and or concerns. So we're gonna go in by row. When I call your row, if you have any comments you want to share, please come up. After your roll is called, if you didn't stand up, then the opportunity to move on. Let's start with the first row. Anybody in the first row that have any comments?
Good evening, Jesus Lopez. I live in 98 Levels Drive. And I want to thank our councilwomen for giving support on a time of need. I appreciate it. At least my mom's finally home, recovering. Would like to see that whole channel again. Second is, I'm disappointed at the drawing, the lottery drawing that happened a couple of weeks ago. I'm just disappointed about that whole procedure. Second is, I see you're making progress on the shoe store. How can I get more information? What's the future of it? I would like to know that. The future of the shoe store.
Or the shoe store?
Yeah, I would like to see the.
From what I know, I think it's going out to bid. going out to bid, RFP, probably soon for that particular location.
And for the Manor Hardware, any update for that store too?
Obviously, if you drive by the building,
Can you repeat that again?
and if you see, if you drive by that building there, it seems like there's work being done in that building.
Yeah, Revolution, it was to the 2024, 92, 93. The last two Revolution, I'd like you to clarify.
Which one's those?
Yeah, which ones again, Louis?
92, 93.
Or 92 is reference to a liquor license, and 93 is, I think that's for the local stage. Right?
It's implementing, the money into our budget.
Okay.
And I'd like to say also too, team, we had two events coming up, a network meeting, I think September the 24th, at the Star Sphere. I hope I saying the name right. And there's a meeting, emergency meeting for the planning board tomorrow. Everybody should come and express their concern tomorrow, the planning board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Anyone else stand first row? Let's move on to the second row. Anyone else? Second row?
Betty Jean Kessler, 418 Langstaff Avenue, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Back in July, I brought up about the township manager's salary, his raises, and I've requested before exactly what does it entail, the township manager's jobs and duties. What is his schedule for working less than 40 hours a week? The residents, taxpayers have a right to know in an outline description, no confidential information, of what their daily duties are. Also, what do we have to do to get the chief of police, public works, code enforcement to come at least quarterly to meetings? No disrespect to the council, but 9 times out of 10, when we come in here with questions, problems, or concerns, or issues, we seem to be on a carousel that just goes round and round and round, month after month after month. It would be beneficial to the residents if the chief of police, code enforcement, public works, at least shows up every 3 months. You have every other township, their people are there every month at their council meetings. Why is Mount Holly not making theirs come to at least quarterly? We need to start getting these people in here. We are citizens, we are taxpayers, they work for us, we pay their salary, it's time for them to be here. Thank you, have a nice day.
Thank you, Ms. Kessler. Anyone else in the second row? Moving on, third row?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Eric Johnson, 202 Blue Jay Lane, here in Mount Holly. My first question is on the resolution that's passed now. Hear me clearly. I have no problem with the resolution. I'm in favor of it. Okay, but my question is, what is Muck City? That was never described in the, is it an entity of the township? Is it a part of our recreation? Now again, I'm in favor of any recreation that brings our children off the street, that has a positive effect. And I've seen our basketball league, phenomenal. And the reason why I'm asking that is because there's a young man who's playing tennis, whose dream and desire is to go to Wimbledon, who has also been playing with some of the USTA groups, and that young man happens to be my grandson. There is not one tennis court in Mount Holly. We've had Franco Harris, we've had other great men, we've had coaches that have been part of this administrative body, and you mean to say that we cannot have a tennis court? We had a young man that had been playing tennis for 50 years, who was the CEO of Burlington County Tennis Association, who is from Mount Holly, who was offered free programs and a free, anything that the LLC offers to Mount Holly residents. That program was dropped, and the reason why I know this gentleman, and who was recognized by the USTA, he happens to be my brother. Now, when things are free for the town, it doesn't cost the township anything, why was something like that dropped? These are some of the things that I'm concerned about. And thirdly, who handles the signage? I came before council before to ask who handles signs. We have signs in this town that do not meet the resolutions that they were assigned to. So, at one meeting, some of the council members there started to ask, and I was told to wait. I have not received any email, I've not received any clarity on it. So there are three things that I'm leaving with you this evening. I hope that I can get some clarity on it, because I'm very much, behind anything that's got to do with recreation that saves our children. And why should I have to send my grandson 2 townships over just to play tennis? Now, when he goes, that's his desire, to play in the openings in New York and to go to Wimbledon. We have relatives and friends there that live in England, and when he gets there, he's gonna represent this town. That's a lot of hard work. Okay, and again, we reference Franco and many, many others. We have a fantastic program, so why isn't it all inclusive?
Thank you for the comments, Mr. Johnson.
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street. I'm going to speak tonight about our mayor and Lou Brown, who I believe were so afraid running against the ticket of Casey Carty, Jason Phaedra, and Vagina Swinson, that they had their allies resort to political dirty tricks and apparent cahoots with Sherry Marnell to cast them to the Netherlands of the ballot. Not only does this speak to their integrity, but on top of that, they enlisted a self-admitted domestic abuser, Jason Carty, to help with their dirty work. While the bank's Brown slogan is progress, not politics, I believe it should be.
Mr. Rolfe, no, I'm gonna
Thank you, John.
I'm gonna ask you, I think you're bordering on.
Can you speak up, please?
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
I think you're bordering, Mike, on, comments that are highly inappropriate. You were not intimately involved in the discussions that occurred between council and the judge. For you to come in here and categorize this is, Mike, I have to say, is a somewhat of a shameful political ploy, on the eve of an election. I really think that, you need to change your tone here.
Okay. I'll just refer to the documents that
I saw your text. I can't let that go. I saw your text where you called the clerk corrupt. That was disgraceful.
Is it an opinion?
No, it's an opinion.
Yeah, that
Right.
was,
It
it was baseless.
Tom,
and-
Tom,
No, I'll look at the documents that I
Tom, hold on
have.
for a second. Rocco, hold on a second. If I hear any more comments in the back,
But Mike,
if anybody starts to shout out or inappropriate behavior, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Mike, go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'll get to the documents. On June 6, 2024, Casey Carty submitted her nominating petition with the slogan Mount Holly United, and her running mates Vagina Swinson and Jason Phaedra later joined under that slogan. On July 10th, Jason Carty created a corporation, Mount Holly United, with the intent to either, I think, kick them off the ballot or impair the election campaign by stopping them from using their slogan. However, the corporation didn't assert its rights on July 11th. It waited until the deadline for submitting slogans, August 26th, to object. Then, when Ms. Marnell received the letter, she not only took away their slogan, but scattered them on the ballot after the candidates with slogans. And she did this, I believe, against the advice of the township solicitor.
No, wrong.
No.
Sherry.
Sorry, but it's wrong.
The first set of documents is Casey Hardy's June 5th petition with Mount Holly United. And then the second set of documents is the Mount Holly United Corporation, which was filed on July 10th, 2024. And the third set of documents is with regard to Jason Cardy's admission that he is on Facebook that he was a domestic abuser. But I think what is a problem is that Mr. Coleman told Ms. Marnell, told Casey that their candidates, they would be grouped together as a group and participate in the lottery without a slogan. That's the text from Mr. Coleman. And then what Ms. Marnell did is said they couldn't run, they had to run as individuals without a slogan, they would not be grouped, and they could not participate in the ballot selection process, they would be last and listed individually. That was against the email of Mr. Coleman to Casey Cardy, and there was no support for that. And that is what I think was despicable. Thank you.
Tom, you want to address Mr. Rocco?
I'm not there. The comments are out of context. They're not factually correct, Mayor, and I don't think they warrant a response. The matter's been resolved. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
And it's been resolved, but
And
Thank you.
I will be
Still
redrawing
exists.
on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Wednesday, so thank you.
Okay, that's the resolution, okay. Appreciate it, thanks, Tom. Next person in that room?
Happy Wednesday, Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Brand Street. The first thing I want to address is, the traffic on 537. I've been waiting for anybody in my township council. I mean, I've been to already the county, they said they have not heard anything from my township. There are near misses every day.
That's incorrect. I said
Okay, thank you.
the engineer, responds and they asked him for an update, he still hasn't supplied.
Do you have a date on that, Josh?
It was over a month ago.
Over a month? Do you have an email?
Yep,
Am I privy to that?
I can get it for you.
I appreciate that, thank you. Moving right along, the next issue that I have is, just a little bit of what Mike said. I was just gonna answer some questions since Sherry had been on vacation when all of this erupted everywhere. She was on vacation, I don't understand. And I think I asked like months and months ago when we were in the building over there on Washington Street. I asked, does the township need volunteers? Does the township need help? If she's on vacation, is everyone just left to do nothing until she returns? It's not fair to her. She's up here getting attacked. Why can't there be someone in this other, I mean, there's plenty of people here who would love to volunteer. Why are you not pulling people from the high school? What is Mount Holly doing here?
Volunteer for what?
Volunteer to help her. She was on
First of
vacation
all,
when all this happened,
Sherry,
right?
you want to address this particular question?
Sure, thanks, Sherry.
Well, I do have a deputy clerk, so I
Okay.
do have somebody that helps me.
Okay,
In this particular case, there's not a volunteer, there's not a deputy clerk that could have helped. And while I do appreciate your sentiment, I do, because sometimes we could all use a little help.
yeah.
I do have help, and I
Okay.
do have 2 girls in my office. Yes, they do vital statistics as well, but they also assist me day to day.
Okay, so you understand then from my perspective, standing here, Sherry, because every time I come to these meetings, it's always like your name being thrown around. It's like, well, Sherry's not doing it, so you understand my
Sherry
perspective, right?
gets the brunt of
Okay,
it,
so
and
then,
I just-
as my perspective, you're telling me you have a deputy, excuse me. But it's still your name up there, it's still your name getting thrown to the ground, but you have all this help. So my thing again, this high school doesn't have a business department? You can't train somebody, you can't get somebody,
Ms.
the town
Ford,
can't
you
get
can't-
somebody
Ms. Ford,
a job, yeah.
You just can't bring a volunteer in to do a job that you know.
Okay, so bring an apprentice,
You
bring
just
a
can't do
trainer.
that. But she already said she has a backup on that particular
And who is
situation, so-
being trained.
And she was being
So-
trained, so at this point, that answers your particular question.
Okay.
And
My
next time, make sure you address us next time.
Make sure
and
I address
I'll
you
bring
next
her
time.
into it if I need her to.
She just had a statement just a few minutes ago, Mr. Mayor.
That's what I said. I said
Okay,
next
so
time.
then,
address us, now I'll bring
then
her.
give her the rules also, she should not be interfacing with me then, make it clear, okay?
I
Because,
asked her.
He asked her to comment.
okay,
Thank you.
very well, so you can shut it down when you want it, and I can't, that's what
Right,
I'm
but no,
saying.
we
let
okay?
you know.
We let you go.
Excuse me, I'm talking to the mayor.
But we let you go, we let you go through your time. Do you have anything else to say?
I do not. Have a
Okay,
great
appreciate
day.
it, thank you for coming. Anyone else in that row? Row 3, I think we're on. Yeah, that's row 3, no, it's same, sorry.
Hi, my name is Linda Brennan, and I live at 47 Garden Street in Mount Holly. Glad to be here. You just heard allegations that Mayor Banks and Lou Brown are closely connected to Jason Carty and the members of his corporation, Jules Thiessen and John Radowski. We have the documents to prove it. Mayor Chris Banks' election documents from 2020 show his office to be 223 High Street, the building that Jason Carty co-owns under the LLC Old School Mount Holly LLC. Rancocas Valley Democrats is a political action committee also out at 223 High Street. You can see their chairperson, who is James Riordowski. He and Jules Thiessen are controlling members of that PAC. The same Riordowski and Thiessen who formed Mount Holly United LLC, along with Jason Carty. We know Thiessen and Riordowski support Mayor Banks and Lou Brown because the election documents of their PAC, Rancocas Valley Democrats, show they contributed $726.49 to the 2020 campaign for Mayor Banks and $726.40 to the campaign of Lou Brown in 2020. Thus, all of the players in this corrupt ballot rigging scheme are related. Mount Holly was incorporated, Mount Holly United, incorporated by Riordowski and Thiessen. Jason Carty is their agent and principal of the LLC. The incorporation documents of Rancocas Valley Democrats show the same two individuals as members, Thiessen and Riordowski. The address of Mount Holly United's registered agent, Jason Carty, Mayor Banks' 2020 campaign representative, or captain, his office, and the Rancocas Valley Democrats are all at 223 High Street. It's not hard to connect the dots. I know Mayor Banks and maybe Councilman Brown may say that we're electioneering, which has no place at a township council meeting. However, the purpose of these speeches is to provide information and support a conclusion that members of a political action committee supporting Brown and Banks are the same people who formed a sham LLC to engage in political dirty tricks to harm the campaign of Casey, Bajana, and Jason. Sorry about that. Worse is that Township Clerk Sherry Marnell was influenced to go against the advice of the Township Solicitor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Ms. Brennan. And before we move on, let's keep the main thing of this particular meeting. The main thing is to come to talk about township business. We do not discuss any active campaigns or elections or anything like that in the past. And we need to continue to keep the main thing the main thing. You come to this meeting to talk about township business and township related items. What she just read, or whatever anybody intends else to read, someone else's words or anything like that, that's inappropriate for this particular meeting. And I'm gonna leave it at that. The main thing is, let the people in the township come with legitimate issues, come here, discuss them. We hopefully have answers for you. Not, we'll get answers for you and we'll follow up with you. But keep the campaign stuff out of here, because this is not the appropriate meeting for any of that. Moving forward, anyone else in that third row? Let's move on to the fourth row. Anyone in the fourth row?
Pierre Ford, 117 Branch Street. Your recent comment, when is it appropriate to talk about that? I'm sitting back there, and we're supposed to be a township, and there's supposed to be problems that the community sees.
Right.
And that they
But I'm
want
gonna stop you
answers.
right there, Mr. Ford, and I'm gonna give you your time, you can pause this time. I'm gonna stop you right there, because you're bringing up accusations about someone that's here, that is not on council. You're bringing up accusations about that particular person and trying to slander that person's name. Right, and this is not the venue for that.
Okay, so.
This is not the, and just being, this is not the venue, this is about township related business.
And I understand that.
And that's all I'm
So
saying.
you need to explain to the community when.
We don't need to explain anything, because there's nothing that we've done that's in violation of any one of these 5 members up here in this.
I'm not talking about, I'm not,
So-
as you as the mayor,
And
you're
I'm-
supposed to explain to us when it's appropriate for us to talk about that.
And that this meeting is not appropriate.
Okay.
Because this is not a campaign. I can see there's a certain agenda amongst some people in this room going forward, because I guess this is an election cycle. And I see that agenda happen, and I see it play out week after week after week after week for the past, I don't know how many years. And at this point, whatever your agenda is to try to pin something on somebody or make false accusations about someone or someone's family, it's not right. That's not the meaning for this. This meeting is to come for township related business. If you have an issue with your signs, like your wife brought up, if you have an issue with your street, you have an issue with your traffic, stuff that you may not be aware of, that's when you come to get answers. You don't come to get answers to talk about something that's hypothetical or something that you think that happened because somebody's trying to connect the dots. Because this is an election cycle, I'm assuming, and we try to keep that out of you. In that situation, if you guys are gonna do that, finish that on outside of this particular room. But I'm not gonna allow that to happen. I'm not gonna allow that to happen in regards to people who I do know, and you try to make false accusations about those individuals. So moving forward, if you don't have anything else, if you have anything else related to that, I'll appreciate you to hold those particular comments till later. If you wanna talk to me after this meeting, you can. And I'll open that up for you, but I don't wanna waste people's time here to listen to same thing over and over again for things that you and Tom already mentioned, our solicitor, that those allegations that is not right.
Look,
And that's what I'm saying.
I appreciate you saying that.
If you wanna talk to me after the meeting, if any one of you guys, if you wanna talk to me after the meeting, feel free.
All right.
But we're not gonna waste the people's time here, try to figure that out. All right, Mr. Ford?
Yes, sir.
All right, and if you, he's gonna unpause and he's gonna give you the rest of your time.
Okay. The park that was known as Conklin Park, this one right behind.
Mike Coughlin Field.
Oh, Monroe Park.
Yeah, Monroe Park, yeah. I guess they're not using it anymore. What are they doing? Because I have nieces and nephews that would like to be able to play over there, and yet there's no equipment, there's nothing over there for them to be able to play.
Yeah, I'm not sure
The
what's
fields
going
are
on.
usually utilized by, Rancocas Valley Little League, formerly known as Mount Holly Little League. It's gone back for quite some time, but, they're the ones that maintain and operate the field and run their nonprofit season through that, where you can sign up. So any equipment isn't provided by a township, it's provided by that organization that utilizes the field, but the township owns the property.
Yeah.
So we allow the organization to utilize the fields.
So then can't the township maybe offer to give a little bit of equipment? I'm sure
I mean, we can look into finding money in the budget to purchase equipment and stuff like that, if that's something the rest of the council wishes to do, but this is the first time it's being brought up, but that is what usually happens with those fields and the other fields along here. Different organizations come in and they get to operate and use the fields.
And my last remarks, it has something to do with, I guess, my question would be, do we have any like camps or anything this summer or anything? And the reason why I ask that is because I have a part-time job. I'm Papa John, I deliver pizzas and stuff. And I see a lot of kids at these weed dispensaries, okay? And it's bothering me because they don't have nothing to do. And during the summertime, they should have things to do around their complex area, not hanging around at these areas where somebody can get shot or somebody can get hurt or anything like that. I mean, I'm upset on the fact that we have so many of them. It's like 5 or 6 of them. Okay, there shouldn't be, in a small town like this, it shouldn't be that many in here. And that's my biggest concern. We're leading our kids into getting into something that we're having a hard time as parents trying to control. So,
Okay, appreciate your comments.
all right.
Thank you. All right, I think we're on row 4. Anyone else in row 4? All right, let's move on to row number 5. Anyone row number 5?
Hi, my name is Lisa Bryant. I'm from 141 Hume Street. With my Mount Holly sewer bill came a nice insert which told me about the survey for our downtown community. It was a great idea. It was a good way to communicate. The MUA has notified us before in the past of local township events like Fire and Ice, St. Patty's Day, Earth Day, and now this survey. I must point out there was a problem or two with the survey. There was no date on it, so I unfortunately missed my opportunity. However, residents who are set up for electronic billing also missed their opportunity because they did not receive this insert. And if they're not, so I'd like to also know if the businesses were contacted any other different way other than like with the bill, were they contacted separately from y'all? As I stated before, this MUA contact is a great idea. It's a logical way to communicate with the town. Not all individuals live on the internet, have email, or even have computer access. Why wasn't the 2 notices of next 2 meetings coming up inserted with this bill? On the backside, it was missing.
Can I stop you for 1 second? I'm sorry, I'll actually stop your time. The MUA has a committee itself and board that puts out this information, not from the township.
That was the meeting.
That was, okay, so I didn't hear the UEZ part. All I heard was the MUA, so I was just trying to, so I apologize then.
No worries. So, with the 2 meetings coming up, that being with the UEZ 5-year plan last week and tomorrow's master plan review, why wasn't that put on the back of the sheet? It also communicates in the townspeople. Why must the public go to the township office to get a copy of to look at the master plan? Why wasn't it put up on the website? Why are meetings not Zoomed, live or recorded? And we need a good old-fashioned outdoor public bulletin board because the township's closed at times. Construction, can't get around, offices have moved. To communicate with, not everybody has internet or, that capability. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. You still on row 5? Anyone else in row 5? All right, next row. I think that's 6. Anyone? Any comments?
Amber Koberbass, 100 Madison Avenue. My first question is, do we have a date yet as to when virtual will be attending either another council meeting or a planning board meeting, since the one they were going to attend and answer questions was canceled, the planning board one?
I'll give an answer for you. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know when Thanksgiving will come to a meeting.
Okay.
Depends on their schedule, depends on how they see fit. I'm not sure.
Mayor, can I address that?
Go ahead.
No, we don't have an immediate date for that because the planning details are still being worked out by Virtuous Planner and our planner.
Okay, totally understandable.
And then it still has to go to the planning board and then it'll come back here.
Yeah, they were, I think, gonna go to the July planning board meeting, which then got canceled, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm just following up.
Because the devil's in the details, they're still
Yeah.
working it out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
My next question is, actually actually, like just now, a lot of people probably couldn't hear Tom, is I understand that when there's a question about the ordinance and like public comment isn't open, that Josh or Tom or Sherry will be addressing council to answer their question. But even if it's not public comment portion, I don't understand the sort of like hostility with people in the back saying that they would just like to hear. Because even if it's too late for us to weigh in, which is a little wild, but even if it's too late for us to weigh in, we still would just like to hear the explanation. I mean, it's our town and it's what you guys are voting on, so we at least want to hear like in plain language what that is. And I know we've talked ad nauseum about the mic situation, but at least when people say I can't hear, like there's just no need to be like hostile about it. You know, we just want to know what's going on. That's why we're all here on a Monday at 6 p.m. instead of at Vincent's having ice cream. Like I'd like to bake. So yeah, we just want to be informed. Which kind of ties into the last two things that I have really quickly. One, I brought this up before. I'm still not seeing UEZ meeting agendas being posted, and especially since some of those are at 4 p.m., it's hard for a lot of people to get to. And again, it would just be nice to kind of like know what is going on. And I don't know if our town solicitor, if he's gonna address, I would think, in my limited understanding, that they would be subject to like New Jersey sunshine laws and that there should be posted agendas in advance. But that would just be nice to have. And the other thing is, I'm not even gonna weigh into so much of the rest of it, but just to hear you, Mayor, talk about like people coming month after month after month with an agenda. You know, like I've been coming to meetings for about a year and a half, and I can tell you more and more people are coming and listening, and our agenda so often is just asking for transparency and just asking to know like what is going on in our town, and to get to know ahead of time, and to get to weigh in, and to get to have input, and then in turn be respected by our elected officials. And that just is not a big ask. It's not. And the fact that we come in like month after month just asking for that and being ignored, being shot down, or just being downright disrespected, I just like, and that's why I don't even have anything to say about the other things, because people with no shame will not have shame about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Well said.
Anyone else? And are we still, hold on, we still on row 6? Or you're in row 6 or 7? I can't see that far. You still in row 6?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure we're not skipping anyone.
Good evening, how you doing? My name's Evan Johnson, I live at 33 West Monroe Street. I was here last month, 51 Bisman, I was brought up the concern about the safety and parking in his yard. And it's not getting any better down there. The parking is like very few. I have to always park down the street, which I don't mind, I just do it. But my main concern is about this gate being open all the time. Yesterday, I was working out on the side of my fence, and they didn't lock the gate, and it hit me. So, but, you know, I'm having a lot of problems, and I've been bringing this up for a long time, not in front of here, but, you know, being pushed off with the forcers, you know, going out, trying to get them to come out and all. I had to go to Mr. Brown about the situation. He listened to me, and, you know, he did put a stop, had a stop sign there, but that it's just not enough. It's that driveway, there's no sidewalk. I tried to get them to come down while I was there, so I can explain to them. I'm still doing homework on pictures and the way it was before. You know, that was all ripped down back in 2005, that big garage, you know, and the foundation. And he moved it in 5 feet and put a fence up. And I showed it to you last time I was here. He moved the shed and even 5 feet off the fence. And then we got the junkyard on 45 Bisman Street. The ladies, they're out there. They got refrigerators, and you know, I know they're out there cutting the wires and all. And they're out there late at night and you know, on their porch, they got a bunch of junk and, you know, I just had the health inspector come out, my, grandson's got lead in 8%. You know, so I gotta get a test on the soil, so I just, I'm about safety. I worked for a company for 20-some years, and I'm high on safety. This is a safety issue here. My car got hit already, and I brought an officer out. He took a report on it, and he even looked over and saw it, you know, and I showed him the, you know, the damage on my vehicle. It's gonna be worse. With that hump going down, that they made dropping asphalt and patting it down, you know, it's gonna be a bad accident there. You know, I don't know how many, I don't wanna keep coming every month and complaining, you know, you know, I feel I've been pushed aside. I can't read and write. Okay, thank you.
No, you're fine, Mr. Johnson. East Monroe Street.
33 West Monroe.
33 West Monroe Street.
Yeah, that's my house.
That's his house.
Okay, and the other one's 51. But that house, for the record real quick, was on-street parking. He bought that on-street parking, not on Monroe Street, having parked in the yard. Thank you.
What is your last name again? I'm so sorry.
That's Johnson.
Johnson, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, I think we're in 7. Anyone else? Row 7?
Jeff Evers, Monterey 203 Royal Street. As you can see on the council, you see that your residents are upset and they're frustrated because, as this man just said, he's been coming here for months with nothing done to the children in his house. And my question is, we have a vacant property fee that we enacted years ago, and I've asked the township council, I looked on our website, there were 123 vacant properties in the township of Mount Holly, and the fee is $500 first year. It used to go up to, I think, $2,000 or $3,000. Now they renewed it or changed it in 2022 to be $750. My question, Josh Brown, is what do we do with these fees that we collect in vacant properties?
The company has revenues,
And then what do we do with the money?
goes into the general fund of the township.
Okay. And if they don't pay the
Goes into the general fund of the township.
Okay.
You're welcome.
And then after we take these funds in, because I actually asked for an accounting for it, and I was told 3 years ago that there was no records of the fees, what was collected and what wasn't collected. My question is, we have all these vacant properties, and I looked at one of the properties that's on Garden Street, and it's a vacant property, it's been vacant. There's tires in the backyard, there's a swimming pool that's full of water, the grass is 4 feet tall. I'm wondering, why are we taking this money and using it to maintain the property with our public works? Because since we are making money on that property, what's that?
But we don't own that property.
Well, you're somebody's in charge
You're
of
talking about
maintaining.
taking township money, taxpayer money.
That's not taxpayer money, it's the vacant
No, you
property
take,
fee
you
money.
take, still, it's taxpayer money, and you want us to take that money and take care of a house that we do not own?
Okay, so if this guy, so take,
I mean, that's what you're saying, right, Mr. Evers?
yeah, I think that there must have been a purpose to collect the money. Isn't there a purpose to collect money as a vacant property fee to do something for the township residents? Since it's a vacant property that they're not gonna take.
And we do have public works take care of certain things that say overgrown outside of their vegetation, but if something's in their backyard.
Well, it's out on the street too.
Go to someone's
There's street
backyard
streets
and clean their pool? Is that what you suggesting?
Well, it's actually a health hazard.
But you're suggesting us to go in their backyard and clean their pool where?
I'm suggesting that you're collecting a fee for vacant properties, why don't we do
And
something?
Mr. Brown did say that we do collect fees.
Okay, then the question, okay, so you say we can't do anything with the fees to maintain the property. Now we have code enforcement, let's go to code enforcement. Now we have code enforcement, how many employees do we have in code enforcement? 1, 2, or 3? One, we used to have 3.
2? We have 2.
We have 2 now, we used to have 3. My question is, how in the world, when you go down Washington Street, are there 3 properties that were almost totally ready to collapse? And we have code enforcement, and we used to have 3 people working here. Now we're down to 2.
Which properties are they on Washington Street?
The ones that are being renovated,
They're
right?
being renovated at this moment.
Yeah, there was nothing left of them. And I've been complaining about them for 10 years to Mr. Brown. So my question is, if we have code enforcement, why in the world, how did it get to that point when we have code enforcement out there supposedly enforcing our codes? And yet it got to that point where they're almost ready to collapse. So I also have the opportunity to meet a nice lady, you guys won. She lived at 348 Broad Street, and she had furniture she wanted to sell. Do you know how you guys won?
What are you referring to?
She wanted to sell her furniture at an antique dealer. So she came and called me. I said, why are you moving? I love Mount Holly, she says.
Okay.
But unfortunately, next door is a vacant property with squirrels living in the house. And I've been in contact with our code enforcement official, Lee Eckert, and Josh Brown for 5 years. They won't give me any satisfaction or help. So I sold and I'm moving to Burlington. So you guys won, she lost, and we lost a great resident. So now she's gone because she couldn't get any help from our township manager or our code enforcement official to solve a problem right next to her house, so she left town. And the rest of us, the good people in Mount Holly, will not stand for it. They're gonna leave, and you're gonna be stuck with everybody else.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Evans-Meyer.
Mr. Banks, can I say something?
Your time.
No, it's not a problem.
Your time is up.
I want to apologize for raising my hand all the time. I don't sit up front because I want to. I am hard of hearing. I'm deaf in one ear, and that's why I constantly have to raise my hand, because I don't care whether he's answering you. You're right, I want to hear what's being said.
Okay.
It's that
We hear
simple.
we hear you.
And if you had microphones, I wouldn't have a problem. I could sit in the back.
Gotcha. Thank you. Are we still on the last, anyone? We on 7?
Yeah.
Stone Barrel Inn, 14 Brand Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. While I understand your concerns, Mayor, this is an open forum. Citizens should be able to discuss any issue related to this town without censorship. By limiting our discussions, you're undermining our right to participate in local democracy. I request we be allowed to freely discuss our concerns, including the Mount Holly United slogan dispute. I believe this discussion is relevant to the community and should be allowed. According to Robert's Rules of Order, Article 4, Section 2, no member can interrupt, and every member has a right to discuss the question before the assembly. I request permission to continue my comments with the allotted time. I'm concerned about the Mount Holly United slogan dispute. The timing and involvement of the town clerk, who's also defendant in the lawsuit, raises serious questions about election integrity and fairness. I urge you to ensure a fair and transparent process. Respectfully, I ask, what steps will you take to prevent manipulation and ensure equal opportunities for all candidates, especially when the town clerk's office is implicated?
I thank you for your comments. You done? Thank you. All right, I think we're done with the rows. Anyone else that's standing in the back? You already had your time. You already had your time. Anyone else standing in the back? Let me just.
Hi, Jennifer Musial, 9 Manor Terrace. I'm gonna do this in a sandwich style, so I have a positive thing to say, a critical thing to say, and then I'll end with an urgent thing to say.
Have your last name again, I'm sorry.
Musial. Musial, like
Musial.
musical, but with a C.
And yeah, what's your address, ma'am? Sorry.
9 Manor Terrace. So I really appreciate the folks at Public Works who came out and collected my garden waste last week. I think it was like I collected it on Monday. In the past, I've had to call sometimes upwards of 3+ times to have that picked up. So I appreciate that they were proactive and came and grabbed that. Helps not decompose on the street. So that's my appreciation for the folks in our township. I just want to note that according to the New Jersey Sunshine Law, according to the New Jersey Sunshine Law about the right to speak, I wanted to read out piece of that. When addressing the public body, so this refers to those who are on town council. When addressing the public body is not required to respond to your questions, i.e. you to me. The public body cannot censor your speech during the public comment portion because it does not agree with you or like what you have to say. The public body also cannot prohibit comments based on subject matter so long as the comments relate to any issue that, quote, that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the municipality or the school district. So the reason I wanted to read that out is because comments about the election are crucial, they're relevant, our democracy is crucial and relevant, and by attempting to close down public comment, if it's connected to an election